Why specifically an ashtray?
Just because they sort of old cold.
They're old cold.
I don't know what this is. I love this idea that he's at the operation and he comes round and they're talking to him and his girlfriend gets a phone call and they say, Mr. Pilkington's maybe complications. He's just talking rubbish.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, good.
Yeah, he's back to his old self. What? Why specifically an ashtray? Sorry, because it's old cold. I understand it's old cold.
Yeah, we understand. Everyone who's done a medical degree understands old cold, but old cold belly badness. If you want to buy that book, Old Cold Belly Badness, it's the history of abdominal surgery by Karl Pilkington.
No, it just. You know,
but do you put it in the freezer or something first?
You can do if you want, but they're normally cold anyway. Sort of thick glass and that it holds the cold. But we don't smoke in our house, so I had to use a plate.
Oh, well, that's madness. A plate's not going to work. Famously, a plate doesn't work.
No! Oh,
so you put a plate on your belly, but that didn't do any.
No, that didn't work. So, called Suzanne and said, "Oh, I'm in agony here." She said, "Go to the doctors then."
Good advice.
So
a lot of people have done that straight away, as opposed to going through the plate ashtray.
So he went to hospital, and he went to hospital and he said, "Have you got an ashtray?"
They went, "No, it's actually an ashtray.
This is no smoking."
What is the closest thing, sort of living, that's nothing?
I don't know what you mean.
What?
What's like the closest? Like, do you know at some point something's gone from nothing to something, hasn't it?
No, I don't. No, I don't understand what you mean.
Do you mean what is the first and lowest and most primitive and most simple form of life?
No,
he's right here in this room, Rick.
say like when you look at a stick insect,
right?
You go, right, there's a slight crossover there from a stick to a living thing.
No, it's not.
It didn't used to be a stick.
No, it's not. There's no biological relationship between it and a stick.
But there isn't much difference between the two, is what I mean.
Of course there is.
It's a huge
there isn't.
difference.
They just sit there looking like a stick. That's their skill.
Yes, but there's nothing to do with being a stick. It's like camouflage. That's like saying when a soldier puts on combat gear, you're saying he's a cross between a human and a shrub.
What I'm saying is, have you seen them weird things that just look like... They sort of look like a leaf?
Yeah, they're insects that have evolved to look like a leaf.
At some point, something has had it away with a leaf.
No! What? At no point has something had it away with a leaf.
No, to make it look that much like a leaf.
No. At no point did a beetle shag a leaf. It's superficial. It's the way it looks. That's all it... That's like saying chameleons must have mated with green once. They are green.
No, but
it looks like a leaf.
But then how does it meet? How does it have relationships? It will be going around sort of having it away with a leaf.
No, it won't, because it doesn't know what it looks like. It doesn't matter. It's not like a stick insect will be talking to a stick for ages and go, "Oh, I've wasted my time here. This club's dead." Rude.
I was chatting to her, she was foxy, but she was giving me nothing.
But, Dave, that's not a stick insect, that's a stick.
What are you talking about?
That's a stick, you've been talking to a stick all night.
I can't believe it, I just thought she had a great slim figure.
No, it's actually a real stick.
Well, I've been watching birds more than insects recently.
Oh, okay, you moved on from
in the last week, just because I've sort of looked at the ant and the bee and that. And what I've found with pigeons is they've got wings, yet they walk a lot.
I'd love that to be a thesis where he got like a £500,000 grant from a university, and I said, "Well, Pilkington seems to. He's done ants and he's done bees. He's followed ants. Apparently, they're not doing anything. Some of them are lazy. We are granting him another £500,000. He's been working on it for a year. Please welcome Karl Pilkington."
Karl, what have you found?
Well, even though pigeons have wings, they walk a lot.
Well, I heard, and you told me this, so I know it's true.
What?
Do you know when I talked about replacing blood with coconut, what was it?
Well, one, it said coconut milk can be used as plasma, but I haven't had that verified because it's off one of those websites where there are spurious facts.
But what do you think of that, Steve? I mean, I've sort of touched on it.
But I've just got to echo what Ricky said. I can't have an opinion unless it's been verified.
But why aren't you just being open-minded enough to go, well...
No.
But
That's
it's
not
not a
being
question of being
open-minded. Open-minded isn't believing everything you hear. You don't believe everything you read, do you?
a lot of stuff you kind of go, well, that's interesting to...
But what we talked about this. What about Noah's Ark?
What about it?
Well, you know, you said you believed it because it's in book form, but according to that, didn't he get 2 of every species on a big boat? But we know that's impossible, don't we?
Depends where he was. If he was above a zoo, there would have been a lot of different stuff knocking about. That's my only problem. What I'm saying is, where was he floating where he could get an elephant, a giraffe, a cat, a dog, a gerbil? Where were all these things floating about?
Well, exactly.
Right,
That's
these
my
Old
only
Testament
downfall.
zoos, they were quite
Yeah,
quite
but
big,
exactly.
really.
But you're right. You're questioning it. How is it possible?
But I've just said, a zoo.
There's no zoo that has got 1% of all animal species.
Well, I don't know where he got them from then.
There's a couple of million species of animal. And how did he round these animals up?
Because they were drowning, so they were looking for any boat.
So they were actively seeking out an ark.
Well, they would have just been looking for anything to get hold of.
Yeah, and where did he keep them all? How did he keep them all separate? How did he...
At that point...
Oh, no, the lions at the otter.
No, because at that point, it's that thing, innit, of how you all pull together in a bad situation.
Talk shit.
You all chip in, they're all like, oh, God, you know, let's be nice to our neighbours.
Right. So there's spiders talking to flies and...
Well, they would have just gone elsewhere, wouldn't they? They would
What do you
have been on another bit of the boat. The spiders don't have to knock about the lions just because they're all in it together. They get their own little area, don't they?
Well, I don't know. How big is this boat? How
It's big, it's a big boat. How long, what was the warning he got from God to make it?
I don't know.
It's a couple of weeks.
Yeah. 2 of every species, Carl. How big would this boat have to be?
Yeah, it's big.
You can't just keep saying it's big, because I know in your mind you're imagining this ark. There's a boat with Noah up the front with his wife, 2 giraffes behind him, then next there, 2 elephants, and it just and it's just like elephant, giraffe, hippo, dog, cat, weasel, couple of frogs, and a spider talking to a fly going, let's get on. But when we're off here, you're dead.
But what would you have done then? Are you saying that you wouldn't get on there because it's too noisy?
It's not a question of what
It didn't
you've
happen.
done.
It didn't happen.
To be honest, I'm not bothered. And they got through it, didn't they? They got through it. They're here now. We're not short of them. If anything, like I said, he didn't do us a favour because he saved too much. You can't move out there for stuff.
That's the jingle for excerpts from Carl's diary. This is all legitimate stuff. Ricky and I have had no input in this. This is the first time we get to read it. Went and did some shopping for stuff as it was my turn. Suzanne moaned a bit because I forgot orange juice and bought some cheap toilet paper. She always buys the expensive toilet paper. I don't know why they make toilet paper with pretty patterns on it.
That made it into the diary.
Up and out at 9 o'clock to go to the Cotswolds. Now, I think this was a gift for your girlfriend, wasn't it, for her
Yeah,
birthday?
it was a
You went to the
birthday and
Cotswolds,
that, so I just went for one night.
Got the car and headed off. We found the B&B, but they wouldn't let us in the room because we were early. We went for a walk. There was not much around the B&B, so we had a quick walk around the car park and went back in. Happy birthday. The room's now ready. It's an all-right room. 3 biscuits, so I ate them straight away. Like a child.
Like a dog! He runs in, jumps on the bed.
No. Get off the bed, not on the furniture. The room overlooked the car park that we'd already been round. You're staring at that window. Remember when we went there?
We'll always have the car park.
Yeah. Oh, God. The room had posh coat hangers in the wardrobe with sponge on them.
So I ate the sponge.
Don't think they are needed. We went and booked a table for Sunday dinner. I had beef. It was nice enough, but there was a family of 13 behind us. I don't see the point in going out in large numbers. They annoyed me. One of the family asked for sorbet before his next course. He was only about 11. He thought he was it. I said to Suzanne, I've had enough and needed a kip. Watch Planet Earth on BBC One. They filmed a panda for 4 weeks and all it did was sit in its cave. It did nout. If I was Fiat, I wouldn't name one of my cars after them as it suggests it won't work or go very far. It'd be like bringing out a Ford Sloth. No one would buy it.
Ford Sloth. I would love that ad campaign. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, God. The new Vauxhall Slug.
We had a look around the local village. There wasn't much to it. We did the usual thing and had a look around the church graveyard to see how old the dead people are.
Suzanne's had it over time so far. She's gone to the Cotswolds, the room wasn't ready, she's seen the car park, and now let's go and play how old the dead people are.
I like the fact that you mentioned we did the usual thing of having a look round the church graveyard. Do you make her do that every time you go away?
I like the fact. I want to know what she did for 2 hours when you slept. She just looked out at the car park, just like, memories.
But that's what you do, though, isn't it, when you go to these places? There's nothing else. Unless you want fudge. Or, you know, you walk round a church graveyard and have a look. It's nothing.
We went home. It took 3 hours to drive back. People say they go to the country to see the wildlife. I saw rabbits, pheasants and a fox on the way home. They were all dead in the road.